Dick Cheney, former U.S. Vice President, dead at 84. Cause of death and final words revealed. The United States is mourning the passing of Dick Cheney, the former vice president who served under President George W. Bush, and one of the most influential and controversial figures in modern American politics. Cheney died at the age of 84. His family confirmed in a statement released early Wednesday morning. According to the statement, Cheney passed away peacefully at his home in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, surrounded by his family. The cause of death was reported as complications from long-term heart disease, a condition he had battled for more than 4 decades. A political titan who shaped a generation. Born on January 30th, 1941, in Lincoln, Nebraska, Richard Bruce Cheney rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most powerful vice presidents in American history. After earning his degrees from the University of Wyoming, Cheney began his career in public service as a congressional intern, eventually serving under Presidents Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford before being elected to Congress himself. He later became Secretary of Defense under President George H.W. Bush, overseeing Operation Desert Storm and shaping the nation's military policy during the early 1990s. But it was his tenure as vice president from 2001 to 2009 that defined his legacy, a period marked by the aftermath of 9/11, the War on Terror, and the invasions of Afghanistan and Iraq. Cheney was known for his sharp intellect, strategic vision, and steadfast defense of American interests. Supporters hailed him as a patriot who made tough decisions in uncertain times. Critics, however, saw him as a symbol of unchecked power, particularly for his role in the expansion of executive authority and military intervention overseas. Years of health struggles. Throughout his life, Cheney's health was a matter of public concern. He suffered 5 heart attacks, underwent multiple surgeries, and received a heart transplant in 2012. Despite these challenges, he continued to remain active in public life, giving speeches, writing, and mentoring future leaders. In a 2015 interview, Cheney spoke candidly about his health battles, saying, "Every day is a gift. I've lived longer than I ever expected, and I've tried to make the most of it." His resilience became a symbol of determination for many who admired his strength and discipline. Cause of death. Cheney's family confirmed that his death was due to complications from congestive heart failure. His condition had reportedly worsened in recent months, leading to multiple hospitalizations. Despite his declining health, he remained mentally sharp and engaged in current affairs until his final days. In their official statement, the Cheney family wrote, "It is with profound sadness that we announce the passing of our beloved husband, father, and grandfather, Dick Cheney. He passed peacefully in his sleep due to complications from heart failure. He was surrounded by family and left us with love in his heart and peace in his soul." Final words. Family members revealed Cheney's final words shortly before his passing. They reflected both his patriotism and his devotion to family. Take care of this country and take care of each other. That's all that ever mattered. Those close to him said Cheney spoke softly in his final moments, expressing gratitude for a life of service and love for his wife Lynn, to whom he was married for over 6 decades. Legacy and reflection. Dick Cheney leaves behind a complex and lasting legacy. To some, he was the architect of America's modern defense strategy, a man whose resolve shaped global politics for generations. To others, he was a symbol of the deep divisions that defined early 21st century America. Yet, regardless of political stance, few could deny his impact. Cheney's influence extended beyond policy. He redefined the role of the vice president, transforming it from a ceremonial position into one of immense power and strategic authority. In later years, Cheney devoted his time to writing and family life, co-authoring In My Time, a personal and political memoir, and appearing alongside his daughter, Liz Cheney, as she rose to prominence in Congress. The two shared a deep respect for public service, even when their political views occasionally diverged. Tributes and reactions. Following the news of his death, tributes poured in from political leaders around the world. Former President George W. Bush released a statement saying, "Dick was a man of unwavering loyalty, wisdom, and courage. He was a rock in the most difficult days of my presidency, and a friend I could always count on." America has lost one of its great patriots. Current and former members of Congress echoed the sentiment, recognizing Cheney's service and deep influence on U.S. defense and foreign policy. Even political opponents acknowledged his intellect and strategic acumen, with many describing him as one of the most consequential vice presidents in history. A family's farewell. Cheney is survived by his wife Lynn, their 2 daughters, Liz and Mary, and several grandchildren. The family has requested privacy as they grieve and make arrangements for a private funeral service in Wyoming, followed by a memorial in Washington, D.C. In their closing words, the family expressed deep gratitude for the nation's support. Dick lived for his family and his country. We take comfort knowing he is at peace and that his legacy of service and integrity will live on through those he inspired. Conclusion. Dick Cheney's passing marks the end of an era in American politics, a time defined by monumental decisions, global challenges, and steadfast conviction. His leadership shaped decades of U.S. policy and left an indelible mark on the nation's history. As the country reflects on his life and service, his final words, "Take care of this country, and take care of each other," stand as both a farewell and a reminder of the duty he felt until his very last breath.